Just realized my mic was muted. Should be good now. But thanks for everyone for being here, either live or in the future with the VOD. Figured I'd play some Slay the Spire. I kind of wanted to do something live. I'm procrastinating doing a few videos that I have planned, but wanted to jump on and do something live. I've debated doing, which I probably will, maybe sometime this week, a live of my top 10 video games of all time. I did TV shows recently, and I figured let's kind of continue down the line and do something different. I know movies and music was kind of the other areas I wanted to cover at some point, but thought about doing games next. So I'll probably plan to do a stream on that topic at some point in the future, probably in the near term. And beyond that, hey JDev, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Beyond that, as far as videos for this week, so I put out my final The Last of Us 2 season or episode review. I've been doing those in shorts. I kind of debated whether or not I wanted to do full episode reviews, but I think initially I thought, I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about the subject matter based on how I felt about the second game. So because of that, I was like, I'll do shorts because it's covering it, but not maybe spending as much time. Ironically, though, I wound up spending a little more time than I expected. I think my first episode review for The Last of Us 2 was like a little over a minute. And since then, I pretty much like maximized getting those under 3 minutes because they increased, for folks that aren't aware, they increased the duration that shorts can be. They used to have to be under a minute, but now it's anything under 3 minutes. So a lot of my reviews for the episodes for those have been like 2 minutes and 57 seconds. So it's like just under that threshold. I probably would have done videos if I realized at the time that there were only 7 episodes. I kind of expected it to be a little longer than that, but then when I saw they made the change, I'm like, I'll just stick with it. But planning to do an overall season review for The Last of Us Season 2 and give my thoughts there. If you've seen my episode reviews, obviously some of that's going to be what you would expect based off of those, but kind of figured I'd give it a whole summary of my thoughts in a video at least, even though I did shorts for the actual episodes. Beyond that, I had mentioned this in one of my posts, but went to a horror convention this past weekend, and I plan to do a video talking about that. I've kind of debated what format I want to do that in because I probably don't want to spend too much time on it since I don't know how super interested people may be in that. I took some videos and had some photos that I'll probably talk over, or maybe have like an introduction where I like talking about it and then maybe have some just like footage going on at the same time. So just wanted to share the experience there in case people are interested in either going in the future or just want to see more like horror related stuff on the channel. So those are kind of 2 planned videos I have for this next week. And then, as I mentioned, probably will do a live covering my top 10 games of all time at some point in the next week or so, maybe. Other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot planned coming up. We're obviously moving into June. I'm trying to think what movies are coming out in June or shows coming out. Nothing really that I can remember. Obviously, something like Dexter is not until July, so we have a little bit of time until then. I imagine we'll get a trailer, though, at some point where I'll probably do like a trailer breakdown whenever we do get a Dexter Resurrection trailer. I saw they kind of put a tease out on Twitter with a post of like Dexter holding a newspaper. I think it was from the official place that said something like Dexter is dead or something like that. I don't know if it's trying to hint at like the book. One of them is called that, but they're just, I think, trying to have fun with the promotional material with Dexter at this point. So we'll see. We'll see when we get officially a trailer there what that looks like. But look forward to having more coverage of that in the coming months, just because that's going to be more relevant with the new show coming out. But beyond that, not too much, I think, to call out. I just figured I'd hop on and engage with folks, talk about whatever topics you may want to talk about, whether it's TV shows, movies, games, music, even whatever. And then at the same time be doing that, playing some Slay the Spire, just as some kind of background activity as well, in case there aren't any topics people do want to talk about. So let me switch over. I need to actually boot the game up. But JDev, if you're still here, hope you're having a good day, man. It was fun checking out your live yesterday and talking about franchises. That may be something I'll do in the future. I I guess franchises is an easier way to do if you really like a series. Like obviously the example I've talked about plenty of times with you is Lord of the Rings. So maybe by having that as like a franchise, it's a little easier. Um, but then you're also probably reducing movies that are just one-offs. Because I guess if you're still here, how would you define franchise? Does it have to be like 3 movies? I feel like 3 movies makes it like a franchise typically. Just happy work's done for the day. Understandable. Um, Happy you're able to hopefully relax and chill now too. But that was a cool idea, just covering franchise stuff. But as I said, I'm curious if you would define that by like 3 makes sense. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the threshold. Like once you have a trilogy, at least it's like okay, you're officially a franchise as opposed to like a standalone idea. I don't know what mine would be if we're talking just movies and not like other forms of media. I don't know. I mean, I already told you what probably my number one is, but I'd have to think about it a little bit longer to confirm that. Because there's also franchises where I don't like all of the movies. And that's kind of the tough part when you're ranking franchises. Like, let's say you really like one of the movies, but you're kind of meh on the other two. Comparing that to a franchise where you're like a little bit in between on all 3 of them, it gets kind of granular with how you define what's something you like more when it comes to like picking one thing from it versus the entirety of the franchise. Let's boot up Slay the Spire. Should we play with mods? Maybe I'll throw mods on. I don't have a whole lot that I added. I did finally add a few. I think I took some off though at the same time. But we'll throw that on. I think the only ones I really have on there are just calling out certain paths and the Ironclad. I think we have the chicken mod on with him. I don't like all the movies in my favorite franchises. Yeah, that's the hard part is like, how would you, I don't know. I guess placing it either higher or lower, I'm kind of torn on where I would fall in that category. Volume for me is a little loud. Let me crank that down a little bit. Maybe even a little more. All right, let me switch over to this mode and throw on desktop audio. Slay the Spire, I've mentioned this before, it's kind of delayed when it comes to having it pop on screen. Let me see. Hopefully it's going to show up here shortly. Because I have it pulled up, so it should. Not seeing it yet, though. Maybe I'll refresh that by turning it off and on. Although I'm now realizing maybe the modded version doesn't qualify as being Slay the Spire. Is the game that smart to know that? Let me see. Let me throw up the modded version to see if that's the case. All right, let's add a new source here. Doing this real time. Yes. Ooh, which one of these is it? Modded Slay the Spire? I guess which one is it called? Yes. Yeah, I think that's the issue is by playing it with the mod. All right, let's see if that pops up now. If it doesn't, I can always just play the regular version. I know I've been doing rankings lists for years. It's a hobby. That's fair. That's not the right thing. That's the actual like modded file. You know what? We're gonna probably just go with the. Is it because I picked the? I picked modded Slay the Spire. What is it? What's the source of that? Huh. All right, we're gonna switch over. We're gonna just play the regular. Make it simple. No Iron Cluck for today. And we'll delete that. I know I was thinking when it comes to list, I feel like I'm sometimes like the kid who doesn't turn in his homework because he's afraid of like not having it be perfect. Um, because of like the definition of somehow where you define some like list. I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. But I do realize you can always change it in the future. Like it's not like a locked in thing. Because I was thinking about, for example, with games, if you really enjoyed a game as a kid, but maybe it doesn't hold up like visually in today's era, do you still rank it high, or do you like think, I'm judging based on if it was something I had to play right now, would I have a good time playing it? So it's kind of that you have to have parameters a little bit on how you define it versus like what you choose to take into account and what you don't. All right, looks like it's here now. So yeah, I'll just stick with the regular game, not do the extra mods. But that's probably the hard part, is just making sure. For me, I'm like, all right, I need to make sure I feel confident about my list. So Twisted Metal 2 for PS1 is my favorite game of all time. Okay. I was a little bit late on the PlayStation train. I played like OG PS1 at like friends' houses, but I never owned a PS1. Like when I was a kid, I was definitely the Nintendo crowd. And it wasn't until kind of even later in the PS2 era where we picked one up. Because I think I even started with GameCube. And then Halo came out, and I was like, all right, we got to play Xbox. And then I think that's the only generation where I wound up getting like all 3 represented consoles. But we got a PS2 like later on in that to play stuff like Kingdom Hearts and things like that. So, but Twisted Metal, I don't think I've really ever played that one as much. I know it's a fan favorite. Obviously, did you watch the TV show? I feel like there's conflicting opinions on how good that show has been with Anthony Mackie, I think it is. But I don't think I really remember playing the original Twisted Metal games, so I'm probably not you're probably a better source for actual knowledge on that one. Yeah, was it right? Yeah, the show? Okay. I think they're doing another season, right? That's another example, though. Like, I was thinking about this earlier. Like, PS1 and N64 are kind of the 2 consoles I think of where it's like they were groundbreaking at the time, but playing them today, like, that's when 3-dimensional games kind of became more prominent, and they're kind of clunky if you play them today. I'm thinking of things like GoldenEye, which was like one of the best first-person shooters way back in the day, but if you try to play GoldenEye now, it's not going to be what you remember it being. So like a lot of those N64 games or PS1 games, I feel like a little bit rough when it comes to the controls. I know another one I think of is I didn't have it growing up, but I played Spyro at people's houses and stuff, and I played the when they remade it on PS4, I guess it was. I thought that was really effective, but I'm curious to see if that original game would actually have been that good. Season 2 of Twisted Metal comes out on July 31st. All right, are you gonna review it all? I don't know if you did you do the first season? I feel like most fans liked it, but I did watch some reviewers who had not as enjoyable time, but I think they got kind of criticized for not liking it a whole lot. Resident Evil 2 is my second favorite game of all time. Okay, so you're definitely the classics from PlayStation. I didn't play Resident Evil 2 really when it came out. I wound up playing... Did you play the remake? I have played and beat the remake, which I really enjoyed. That's probably one of the better, I imagine, remakes as far as gameplay goes. Because I had a good time with the remake. It was like a perfect... That's another one where I kind of point out the age of time changes things. I feel like the whole Resident Evil formula back in the day when you're like going into a room and the camera angle changes, I feel like that's so frustrating. But the remake, I feel like, did it really effectively. I guess it's more Resident Evil 1, where you have a static camera. Or 2 is more like over-the-shoulder type stuff. I don't think I played it. If you really liked the original, I would recommend checking out. You may not have a console to play it on or anything like that, but I would say if you have the means to play it, the remake of Resident Evil 2, I think, is worthwhile. And I think people who really enjoy the original probably still really like the remake, too. You didn't review Twisted Metal? That's fair. Do you plan to do Season 2 or go back to Season 1 at any point? I didn't watch Season 1. I don't have necessarily the attachment to Twisted Metal that a lot of people have. Maybe at some point I'll watch it, but it's not something that I personally have like a strong interest in. It sounds like a cool world overall, but I just don't have like the nostalgia for it as much as maybe some people do. All right, what do we want to boot up? Okay, we do have, I think all the audio stuff and stuff looks good here. If I did, it'd probably be after theirs. That's fair. That probably makes sense because it's... Is Twisted Metal... I'm trying to remember what that's on. Is that an NBC thing? Is that on Peacock? That may be also why I didn't watch it, because I don't subscribe to Peacock, but I feel like it was an NBC property. Similar to like... Was Halo on that too? Yes? Cool. It's so funny. I feel like video game adaptations for like TV are the most polarizing things for fans. Like, I didn't watch it, but I heard the Halo TV show was just awful. And they obviously wound up canceling it, so that probably was pretty well thought of across the board for fans. I know they wound up using, like... I get it because they had an actor, but they seemed like they had Master Chief take off his helmet like every episode, and... That's not really what you're interested in. Halo, you don't really need to see the actor playing Master Chief. I hate Peacock. That's fair. Yeah, I think Peacock's probably the only one I've never subscribed to, if I'm being honest. Like, a lot of the traditional ones I'll have access to, like HBO or Showtime. And I guess I haven't done AMC, I don't think, either. And Netflix I'll do periodically as well. But I don't know. You have to have like so many different subscriptions, and I'm like, I'm not gonna sub to all of them. Oh, let me move this. Yeah, I think that's roughly center. I think that's the way to go. I've said this before, but just being dedicated to one isn't necessarily advantageous to be like a viewer. I feel like branching out and like, all right, I'm gonna watch this one for a month. Problem is nowadays they're like stretching things out. Like Netflix is the king of doing that now, where they're like, all right, you want to watch Stranger Things? Here's the first half or the first third, like Cobra Kai was. Like, do we have confirmation? I think Stranger Things 5 comes out later this year. Do we know if they're gonna chop it up? I feel like they're gonna have, like, they chopped up the fourth season, so I imagine they're gonna do it. All right, let's run through this. Who do we want to play with? So I've mentioned before, we have the Silent already kind of maxed, so we'll probably skip him again today. Ironclad, we've made some progress. Same with the Watcher, which I don't like playing with the Watcher as much, so that's probably good. Maybe we try doing the last defect one to get to 20. I guess you have to beat it on 20 to technically, but you don't unlock anything once you beat it on 20, so maybe we'll try the defect and probably get destroyed because... I've said this before, I'm bad with the defect, even though I have fun with the character. And 19 is pretty tough. Like 20, the only real change is that you play 2 bosses at the end instead of 1. So, but yeah, I'm definitely not overly loyal to one subscription service. It's definitely watch what you want, and then depending on if it expires. The downside is on for Netflix, I actually wound up getting it because I bought a PlayStation last year, and it came with like a subscription to Netflix, and like it was pretty much like a credit on your account, but you can't like pause it. You can't be like, all right, I'm gonna save this for next month. It pretty much, if you have a balance of like a gift card on your Netflix account, you have to actively have it at all times. So that's pretty much why I have Netflix now, and whenever that thing expires, then I'll probably not be using it as much. Did you wind up watching Fear Street, JDev? I don't know if you're like at all a fan of that franchise. I feel like that's been kind of a dogged on recent movie on Netflix, but I didn't hate it nearly as much as a lot of people did, apparently. I feel like a lot of people expect it to be like this miraculous, like overly creative concept that's like deeply tied to the lore of the franchise, and I don't know why people went into it expecting that, because it was kind of just your run-of-the-mill basic slasher to here to have a good time and not expect, this amazing creative concept. So I think I went into it more just being like, all right, let's have a decent time. Let's not like have this have to be like some deep like Inception or like concept that's like overly innovative. Haven't seen any of the Fear Streets. That's fair. I didn't watch them until last year. I watched the trilogy, and I was a little mixed on it. I think they were fine. I think they're a little overhyped, if I'm being honest. As far as rankings, I don't know if I mentioned this fully, but I would probably, honestly, I may think Prom Queen is probably my most enjoyable watch. I think having them all three come out around the same time was an interesting choice. I feel like that gets people kind of burnt out. Granted, I didn't watch them all when they released, but I did watch them all kind of consecutively. I think I wanted to like one more than I did, but I still had a good time with it. 2 I liked. 3 is probably my least favorite. I think that's Ken's favorite, but I don't feel like I love the whole... So that one's like taking place mostly back in like 1666 or something like that. It's kind of your like Salem witch trials era. And I feel like a lot of those historical pieces I don't appreciate as much. I feel like I prefer more modern media. So I'm a little biased in my like leaning away from that. But I may rank them like Prom Queen and Fear Street 2 are probably pretty close for me. And then 1 is like shortly thereafter. And I feel like there's probably a big gap between that and 3 for me. But I mean, they're kind of... I don't know. I feel like they're probably targeted towards more of a younger generation because it's like R.L. Stein's like Goosebumps. But at the same time, like, I thought about this for Prom Queen. It's like, okay, this is a high school group, but it's pretty violent. So I'm like, I kind of feel like you're targeting young adults or something in that generation. All right, we'll do the defect and probably get destroyed, but we'll try it. All right, we're always going to take this starter. But I had a decent time with them. I would say if you don't have anything to watch, they're a decent throw on, but they're not going to be like, if we're doing top franchises, I'm never going to pick Fear Street or anything like that. I think they're supposed to be making a few more. I know people were concerned that maybe Prom Queen didn't perform as well, so they may back away from that, but it sounded like they were still probably going to make a few more. But I didn't read the books growing up, so I don't necessarily have like that deep attachment, so that's probably a little bit a factor in my review of it as well, where I don't have like this expectation of anything with the franchise. We'll fight some elites. Go that way. I'm trying to think TV shows or movies as far as like streaming goes, or even theaters. I guess that's what's coming out in June. I'm trying to remember. I think that Dangerous Animals movie is supposed to come out, which I'm a little mixed on. It's like that serial killer with that he feeds people like sharks. I think the trailer to that one was a little bit too revealing. I debated seeing that Friendship movie, the one with Paul Rudd, but it seems a little bit... That's something I could probably watch on streaming down the road. Get rid of Defend. Go left here to give us options, probably. Oh, I forgot, actually. I completely forgot the thing I picked at the beginning. I would have gone that way. Yeah, that would have been smart. Oh, I could have had the potential for 2 elites. Well, let's recover from that, and maybe we can still hit at least one of them. Okay, I'm going to have no cards here, so there's that. But I know, I think I mentioned to you in your live yesterday, like, Welcome to Derry is one I'm like, maybe. I don't necessarily, like, deeply love the It, like, world. I always feel like the adults in that world are very... I get it's kind of the point, but they're not really believable characters where they're just, like, almost possessed by this like town where they're just not helpful at all to any of the problems going on. I did like it chapter 1. Chapter 2 was a little bit rough. Okay, we're not going to snipe in the lead apparently. I think I haven't paid enough attention. I've talked about it briefly, but I think Crystal Lake is supposed to be on Peacock, I believe, because I remember thinking like, oh, I may not wind up reviewing that one if it is. Yeah, we'll go this way and fight elites the old-fashioned way. But I would be interested in Crystal Lake. I need to watch all the Friday the 13th movies. I feel like it's blasphemous that I haven't seen like all the F-13s or Halloweens. I intended to watch a lot of them last October, but I wound up going through all the Nightmare on Elm Streets. Then I also wound up doing a 13 Horrors of Halloween series where I just kind of picked 13 randomly selected movies that I reviewed, which I'll probably do again this year. It was a fun time. I probably should be better. J-Dev, I need your work ethic when it comes to doing those, because I think I came up with the concept like mid-October, which then led to me having to review a movie like every day to catch up. But I'll probably do that again this year, where I'm just reviewing 13 horror movies and then at the end kind of stack ranking them amongst each other. Yeah, I know. I feel like my horror badge has been like revoked if I haven't seen those, which is why I definitely need to. I intended to, as I said last year, I started the Halloween franchise. So of the Halloweens, I've seen the original, and I saw 2018 and Kills. Last year I watched Halloween 2, and then I was going to continue watching them, and did not get to Season of the Witch, and that's kind of where I fell off. I feel like I probably would like Season of the Witch because it seems like it's kind of an outlier, which I know some people are offended by not having Myers in it, but it feels like maybe up my alley. But yeah, trust me, I feel definitely like to consider myself a horror fan. I need to catch up on those. I feel like my time was like heavily 2000s horror. I was a little bit late to the party. I know I've talked about that a little bit before. We probably need to do damage against you, honestly. I'm not loving this build, especially since we did avoid getting the advantage of playing this guy with 1 health. But yeah, that's part of why I watched like the Nightmare movies last year, because I'm like, all right, I need to. A lot of these classics I need to catch up on. Are you a fan of like the Nightmare movies? Kind of what are your thoughts on? It sounds like you probably are a fan of the Halloweens and the F-13s. I really like. This is probably a super like poser statement to make, but I did really enjoy the Friday the 13th video game, which has been a lot of speculation on that coming back, or this whole like summer camp game that's coming out that's supposed to be like very similar. Not really. Not a big fan of Nightmare, it sounds like. I feel like when it comes to Jason, I part of it is I feel like a lot of the older horror movies, because they're filmed on like older cameras and things like that, which makes sense for the time, if you don't have the nostalgia for it, I kind of debate if it's actually as good if you don't have that. I think we can afford to block here, actually. I like silent killers. Okay. So that makes sense with Myers and Jason. I will say, I don't think... Ooh, we'll take electrodynamics. I feel like the... I have seen the original F-13, and I don't know if I love it that much, but I feel like a lot of people don't, because it's not really a Jason movie. It's more of like a... I don't know, Jason origin story, or like a Pamela movie. Yeah, and that's kind of, when I watched the Nightmare movies, I kind of felt like there were parts where I was like, okay, maybe back in the day this would have been cool, but I don't feel like this scene works in modern media. I feel like a lot of people have rose-colored glasses when it comes to a lot of those movies. Like the later ones, I was like, okay, this is getting really silly, which I get is kind of the point of Freddy. But ooh, what do you want to do here? Should we cold snap twice? Maybe I should have electrodynamics twice. Yeah, because you're not gonna die. Oh well. But I was like, okay, they're fine. I don't feel like they did that much, and I think a lot of people think more highly of them than maybe they actually are. Like the first couple I thought were pretty good, but they got kind of silly, which I know is somewhat of the point in some of the later installments. Okay, you're dead. Ball lightning or claw? Because we do have electro now. Take claw. One I don't necessarily plan to watch all of. What are your thoughts on the TCM franchise? I feel like, once again, Leatherface I kind of like more as a concept than actually like the movies. Like the only one I can really actively remember watching is the remake, which I thought was good. We'll go claw again. But like the older ones, I feel like my interpretation is there's not much plot there. They're kind of just like, let's chainsaw some people. All right, that was fun. So when it comes to like, if I'm picking iconic horror franchises, I feel like I would not necessarily pick a lot of the classic ones. I feel like I lean more towards like a Scream and Chucky and stuff like that. I've only seen the Jessica Biel one, the newest one. The newest one, like the, what's that one on Netflix? Is that the one that, where the guy, I remember seeing the trailer for that one. I haven't watched it, but he's like on the bus and he's like, you're gonna get canceled, Leatherface. And then he gets like chainsawed. I heard people didn't love that one. Yep, okay. I know, I feel like by default, Leatherface is the fourth person on the Mount Rushmore of horror alongside Freddy, Jason, and Michael, but I don't know if he's somebody I would necessarily put there. Take you away. Here, we'll do some upgrading. Probably dual cast. TCM video game was decent. They did kind of like murder that recently. No pun intended. With it sounds like they kind of canceled doing a lot of the future patches and stuff. I think at some point I would consider playing those kind of games on stream, like those asymmetrical horror games, because thematically it makes sense with it being a horror game. Sure. Kind of was hoping to play something else there. I know, not to tangent too much, but I know Dead by Daylight just got its PTB out today, where Springtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's is the new killer that's going to be coming out. It seemed like a lot of good reception there. That game is very much like the Fortnite of the asymmetrical horror genre. They like definitely nail getting all these IPs and kind of satisfying fans' requests with that. We'll sit on that. Yeah. Should be okay this fight. feel like the problem, I don't know if it feels like it's mostly horror franchises where like the rights to stuff always gets so like jumbled. I don't know why it feels like those specifically always become a nightmare with like, oh, F-13, there's 2 different people that are fighting over it. Or Nightmare is having that problem too. Ooh. Bias, Cognition, or All for One? Probably All for One because I really like Biased, but the problem is you can't play it early. You have to like wait. Whereas All for One, you can play pretty much anytime you pull it. So we'll go with that. I think we're picking the Pyramid. Because we can play the claws and wait to play All for One if we need to. Sure. Alright, what do we have here? An elite right before the boss. That's kind of brutal. That path is constant elites too. I think we'll go this way and then make a judgment call after that. Okay, pulling these 2 in the same turn, don't love. But because we keep our hand, we'll probably just do that. I think we're probably good here. Yeah, okay. Capacitor, I think we'll go there. We do need to increase our focus, though, to make that really worthwhile. Probably just dump a strike, right? Here's where something like Judgment would come in handy. Good news is we can do that. We'll keep you on our hand. Ooh. That works. And we got him. Sequencing is such a big deal with this deck. Definitely takes scrape. Yeah, this guy's a bit of a pain to deal with. Alright. J-Dev, if you're still here, do you think you'll plan to do any more? I think you mentioned you would consider doing some more lives coming up. Any topics you plan to do for them? I kind of just wound up defaulting to playing like this game and keeping it open-ended. But I'm curious to see if you have any topics that you would plan to cover on any ones you're running. And if people are interested in talking about like top lists when it comes to movies and shows, definitely check out J-Dev's channel. All right, let's see. Now this first turn I don't love. Are we dead? Do we need to... We may be dead here, to be honest. $27 damage? Yeah, I think we're dead. Well. That was unfortunate. We'll run it back with them, though. Working on my top 10 horror franchises. Nice. Let me, real quick, I'm going to quickly grab some water and come right back, but I'll follow up on that as soon as I do. And I will switch over to my, my new BRB screen. All right, we're back. I figured I'm trying to do a little bit better at getting up every once in a while. I feel like the problem is it takes away from the live, but realistically, it's probably good to do. You like the new screen? Appreciate it. It's kind of threw together pretty quickly, but it's a little bit better than just my default. But you're working on your top 10 horror franchises. I feel like I could do a pretty good job at guessing your list. Once again, I'm assuming franchise means we need to have a few films. I would take a stab at guessing, but I don't want to spoil your list necessarily. It was entertaining. Appreciate it. All right. 3, yeah. That's kind of what I feel like is the sweet spot for a franchise. I could throw out, like, roughly mine. Once again, this is doing it on the spot, so I don't 100% would say I'm locked into this, but... Alright, we'll take you. Okay, that's fine. But mine, in no particular order, I'm going to say Saw is on there. I'm going to say Scream is on there, which I do think is probably true for both of yours. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's definitely overlap. If Scream was high on your list for franchises, then it's probably high on your horror. But for me, I would put Saw, Scream, Evil Dead, which was cool when I went to the convention this past weekend. Went to the Evil Dead panel, so it was cool to see the variety and kind of reference points for that franchise. I didn't watch Ash for Evil Dead. I watched the first episode the other day, but I'm not as familiar with that. But there's a couple actors there from that, and there's a few from the original Evil Dead, and then obviously Bruce Campbell was there, and then Alyssa Sutherland from Evil Dead Rise. So it was kind of cool seeing the different generations of Evil Dead actors, but that would definitely be on my list. I need to rewatch the first two. I watched them a long time ago, same with Army of Darkness, but I rewatched Army of Darkness last year, and I reviewed Evil Dead 2013 during my 13 Horrors of Halloween last year, and I didn't review Evil Dead Rise, but I watched that one and had a good time with it. So that one, I feel like this isn't necessarily anything new, but I feel like Evil Dead and Scream are kind of the two franchises where consistency is super high. Like, there's not really a bad film per se in either of those. So yeah, Saw, Scream, Evil Dead, horror franchises. Once again, I probably need to actually watch more of them to be more of a reliable source. You've done a ranking? All right, I'll have to check out your stance on that. I need to rewatch 1 and 2 to give it a fair shake, but 2013 may be my highest. That was the only one that during the panel there wasn't somebody represented from that, like Jane Levy wasn't there. But 2013, going off of memory, I don't want to be biased because I feel like I would rank the first two lower than I would necessarily probably realistically place them if I saw them recently. Yeah, 2013 is awesome, which I feel like 2013 has the dilemma where a lot of people didn't like it when it came out, but as time has gone on, people are like, you know what, that was actually a good movie. I feel like a lot of movies have that where it's like immediately afterwards, it's like, I don't know. But then when you give enough time, it becomes like, all right, yeah. I mean, the OG probably had the like lowest budget, I would imagine. And if I remember, there wasn't as much comedy in that one. It was like just trying to be more horror based. Did you watch Ash for Evil Dead? Is that worth watching? I watched episode 1. I thought it was all right. It was funny. They talked about that during the panel, and Bruce just kept being adamant that everybody pirating the show led to it being canceled. I feel like it being on Stars just leads to it being canceled because nobody... I mean, I do have access to Stars, but nobody pays for Stars, I feel like. Like, that's kind of what happened to Heels, in my opinion, where it was a really good show, but nobody watches Stars, so that led to it just not getting continued. I think Netflix picked up Heels, so maybe at some point they'll continue that because they left that off on a major cliffhanger. Haven't watched any of the show. Yeah, I hadn't either until we went to the panel, so I was like, well, let me check out the at least first few episodes. But it seemed okay from the beginning, so we'll see. I'll probably watch more of it. I'm just sitting here stalling for which path I want to go with. We'll go this way. Well, let's see. Outside of those three, and we have to say franchise, so we're saying there has to be 3 movies. Horror franchise. Ooh. I mean, I would probably put... Well... Yeah, I would probably put Chucky on there. I like it. I haven't, honestly... I haven't watched really the later ones. I've seen them on TV periodically where I'll just, like, jump in and watch for a little bit, but I haven't, like, start to finish watched, like, Cult, Curse... I think just those 2, right? What are the later ones? So we have, obviously, Child's Play 2, 3, Bride. Then we have Cult, Curse. What's the other one called with, because there's a third one, I think. Because there's one where he's, like, multiplying, and there's one where he obviously has, like, Glenn. Seed, yeah. Seed, I think, is the one where, like, Glenn and stuff and Glenda come into play, which I know gets dogged on a lot. And I watched the TV series. I liked season 1. Season 2 kind of sucked, in my opinion. And then season 3, I didn't love as much either. The ending was super weird. I feel like they tried to do too much of the Seed stuff in it, which I get. That's kind of Anthony Mancini, or Don Mancini rather, really digs that stuff, so I get it, but I don't feel like I like more serious Chucky than like super slapstick. I'm also not a big fan of like Jennifer Tilly's side story stuff with like Tiffany. Lame, pathetic movie, that's fair. I definitely, if I'm leaning towards like any of them, it's definitely one. Bride's okay. It gets a little silly in that movie too. So I do like 1 through 4. I need to watch maybe the other 3 to give them a fair shot, but I don't imagine I really like them because they do more of the later seasons of Chucky stuff, whereas season 1 felt like it was more in line with the tone that I prefer. Either way, I think I'm putting Chucky on my top 10. And then what else would be on there? Hard part is I have to think franchise, not just independent movie. We'll block because we can probably beat you next turn. Horror franchise. Child's Play 2 and 3 are the best. Yeah, I would agree with that statement. 1 is a little bit slow. Obviously, you're setting up the origins of it. Terrifier and Leprechaun. Actually, I went to the beginning of the Terrifier panel over the weekend. I haven't watched all the Terrifiers, so I don't have the attachment there. But they seemed like okay people. Do we want any of these? Maybe we'll just grab boot sequence. I've seen part of the third one, which is probably like the worst place to jump in, but I heard the first one doesn't necessarily have like a lot of plot anyway, but I need to watch probably all 1 through 3. Leprechaun makes your top 10 too. That's... So I only really remember watching the first one with Jennifer Aniston. And I've heard some of the later ones that get kind of goofy, like what is it, Leprechaun in the Hood or whatever, or Leprechaun in Space, are kind of funny. First one's good. I'm assuming you mean Terrifier, because I've heard like 2 was decent and 3 people liked 2. I've seen the I definitely have watched the opening of 3 with like the whole Santa thing. I don't know. I feel like Terrifier is like heavy gore focused, which I can appreciate, but I feel like I need more substance to it, which is why probably the first one I wouldn't like as much. Oh, you were naming it's not in your top 10. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I would not put it in my top 10. I don't having really only seen the first one, I can pretty confidently say Leprechaun is a little bit too silly for me. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, if I feel like if they really lean into the goofiness, maybe that really works. Because once your franchise goes to space, you kind of just are like heavily into that. We'll do this. You know what may make my top 10? I forgot about including sci-fi stuff. Because you could have things like Alien and Predator, right? Tremors is one I would consider. Because Tremors is kind of a good time. Nobody else likes 4. That's fair. Yeah, Alien. The hard part is I haven't seen the 3rd Alien movie. I heard it's not very good. I've seen the later installments, if you want to count those, like Prometheus and Covenant. 1 and 2 are good. So maybe I would put Alien in. Predator. I feel like the first one's good. After that, they don't really do much for me. As I said, Tremors may be like a sleeper for me to include there. Because I watched that franchise growing up on like, I don't know, USA or whatever TV network it was on. And they were very goofy, but like Kevin Bacon is hilarious in that. And the things were like kind of creepy. Even though it's directed by David Fincher. Yeah, so what did I say thus far? We got Saw, Scream, Chucky, Evil Dead. I think I'll throw Tremors in there, probably towards the back half of the list. Alien, maybe we'll throw in there too. Hard part, once again, is I get such in like the weeds of like, define what horror means. Like, some people count things that I don't think should be in horror as horror. Like, for example, do you consider Jurassic Park horror? Because I don't. But I know some people do. Like, I know when Ken's done like the My First Horror Movie, some people put that as like their number 1. But I don't really count Jurassic Park as a horror franchise to me. It's kind of more of an action type thing. I don't, yeah. That's the hard part though, is like if somebody has it on their list, well, I'm like, well, if we're counting that, I would have put it on mine, but I don't consider it. So because of that, it's in a weird place. Yeah, it's what you want. I agree. Final Destination, I would probably put on there. I have not watched Bloodlines. I'm probably going to wait for that one to come to streaming to watch it. But it's pretty consistent too outside of the 4th one. Hellraiser, I'll probably be canceled for this too, but that's a franchise I haven't watched. I don't think I've ever really watched any of them, if I'm being honest. I know like the lore behind it with like the box and the stuff. Partially because it came to Dead by Daylight, so I'm familiar with like Pinhead through that. But I haven't watched all the Hellraisers. Hatchet, I also haven't watched all of. See, I'm like the worst horror fan. You know, it could be a good, a fun ranking idea too. Would be, is that gonna break him? I think that is. Maybe it's worth it. Fun horror idea would be like ranking the best remakes, maybe. Because I thought of something like, I remember watching The Hills Have Eyes growing up, like the remake, and it's a little bit gross of a movie, but I feel like that was like a classic one I would throw on. I watched a few when I was young, but don't remember anything about them. You talking about Hellraiser? Let's throw all the blocks up. We probably should have used that potion, if I'm being honest. Maybe do it now. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I kind of assume Pinhead is in the same category as a lot of people, where it's like, you are an iconic killer, and you're cool, but your movies probably aren't very good. Maybe that's not the case, but it's kind of my assumption. Maybe I should give them a chance. But that's also a movie where I feel like, or a franchise where I feel like they've probably not aged super well if you didn't like them back then or didn't watch them back then. I keep doing Glacier, which I need to be doing damage to, honestly. Yeah, I think we're just going to do that. Resident Evil movies, I don't love them, if I'm being honest. I like the Resident Evil franchise. Obviously, the movies, a lot of them with what's her name, don't really follow the franchise anyway. Like, they don't follow the games. What's her name? Mila. Hey, Eli, I appreciate you being here, man. We're just kind of talking about top horror franchises as I'm playing through. I don't know if you're familiar with Slay the Spire at all. It's kind of an indie card game, roguelike game. But kind of just playing through this at the same time talking to JDev, especially about horror franchises as far as top ones. I think thus far I've said Saw, Scream, Evil Dead, Alien, Tremors, Final Destination. Was that like 7? Do you like the Resident Evil movies, JDev? I feel like what is her name? Mila something Vovich. I did really like her in I don't know if you've seen the Monster Hunter movie. I think that was actually kind of an underrated video game adaptation. Maybe we'll keep boot sequence. There's a few you like, that's fair. I mean, obviously, if you're like a hardcore Resident Evil fan when it comes to the original stuff, I feel like a lot of people were turned off because it doesn't align to the movies. The most recent one, I thought was okay. Was it Return to Raccoon City? Where they did actually kind of follow the first couple games. But they were alright overall. I'm trying to think of other stuff. Was she was it Kate Beckinsale, the one in Underworld? It's kind of a similar franchise. Yeah, it was okay. The recent one? Yeah. I do feel like everyone said this before, but you have such an easy concept just like following the first and second games, which they kind of did in that one. They kind of merged them a bit too much, but we're going to pick up this because we do need focus. Should I grab the artifact too? Yeah, I would probably not put Resident Evil in my top 10 horror franchises just because it feels a little bit too inconsistent for me. I don't know how do those age well too as far as like the special effects and stuff. I'm not sure if they would or not. You might? Okay. Yeah, what else as far as franchises go? Ooh, do we want loop or hologram? I think we'll take loop here. Do we want to fight an elite? We would probably die depending on who we face, so that may be a little risky, but I kind of want to try to get a relic again. I thought it'd be these guys. Debate if I should play this now. Alright, we're like way blocked here. Yeah, maybe we'll pop it. What else for horror franchises? I mean, there's the iconic ones, obviously, which I don't feel qualified enough to put like Halloween or Friday the 13th in there. Having seen all the Nightmares, I don't think I would put Nightmare in there. Some of the later stuff I'm thinking of, like The Conjuring or Insidious, I don't think I would put those in there either. I don't necessarily like super love like the whole religious horror stuff. I feel like they're fine. Like one of the movies I reviewed for October last year, Ouija Origin of Evil, I thought was like a really good movie for people that like that genre, but I don't really care for that subgenre, so I kind of qualified it saying, this is a really good movie if you like these, but I don't love them, so it kind of fit in the middle for me. The Human Centipede, I don't know if I could say this is proudly, but I have actually not seen them all. I'm familiar with the first one, and obviously I get the concept. I don't think I would put them in my top 10. Eli, what would be some of your top 10 horror franchises if you're open to sharing? I haven't really thought about it super in depth, but kind of on the spot, the ones I've named are so far what I would probably throw in there. Yeah, we'll pop that. Why not? Yeah, I don't think I would throw a Human Centipede in there. You know what I did watch recently, which also they were at the convention this past weekend, was I watched the first Creep movie on Netflix. I didn't watch the sequel just because I had heard like it was all right. It's kind of how I felt about it. Like it's your found footage type of film. I didn't feel like it was the strongest movie, but probably with the budget they had, I can appreciate what they tried to do. Yeah, Echo Form here. I did also watch, I've been trying to like go through the backlog of stuff I've missed, which I probably should stick to like finishing out some franchises like Halloween or F13, but it's easier to pick off like smaller things that are like one-offs. Kind of in a tangent, it's kind of like when it comes to anime, it's like you can watch all of One Piece, which is like 1,000 episodes, or you can watch this show that's like only 20. So it's a lot easier to pick like those smaller ones. I watched Strange Darling a week ago because I'd seen a lot of good feedback on it. I don't think I loved it as much as a lot of people did. I may wind up reviewing that sometime soon since I did watch it. Not the best opening turn. I do like Kyle Gallner, which is why I was interested in it, but I don't feel like the concept worked for me super effectively. Ooh, are we dead here? I think we can avoid being dead here, but at the same time, at what cost? Yeah, we're probably dead after this turn because we're not going to bring him down that far, but we will extend the fight slightly. I'm trying to think what else. So if it has to be... I think liking the franchise is harder because you have to at least appreciate some of the movies. Like I can think of things like... I don't know if I really would say I love it, but like the original Blair Witch was a nice product of its time, but the rest of the franchise I don't think really holds up. Honestly, the original movie doesn't hold up super well outside of kind of being at the time people thought it was real. Can we break this guy? I think we can, but once again, he's going to be like max strength. Anime is awesome. Some Evangelion, Inuyasha, Ninja Scroll 1, the original Berserk. Okay, awesome. It's cool you like... I feel like when I've talked to JDev about anime, I know it's not his cup of tea, so he just hears me talk about it, and I feel like probably he rolls his eyes, but it's cool to see that you like that stuff too. I have actually all of the Berserk deluxe editions over the side here, which I had debated doing like a series on the channel reviewing them. I haven't read them all, which I need to. What are we gonna do here? Are we 28, 38? We're close to dead. If we can break somebody, we're okay. But from what I've read from Berserk, I really enjoy it. We may be better off dual casting the Frost. Because right now we're sitting at 28. Yeah, I think we're going to try that and see how that goes. Yeah, the deluxe editions are awesome. They're like, I feel like they're super well put together. I'm dead anyway. I know some people complain that like they're harder to actually read because you have to. I feel like you have to put them out on your desk as opposed to like you're not going to sit on like a chair necessarily and read it. But they're super well put together, and I need to wind up reading. I'm not like super far. I'm on like the 3rd deluxe, but honestly, I haven't read them recently, so I probably need to just start from the beginning again. But it's a cool franchise from what I did read. Like Guts is a cool kind of protagonist, or he's kind of I feel like he kind of feels like an anti-hero from what I've read thus far, where he's questionable, like his morals are a little bit questionable, but I kind of view him as more of a like R-rated Vegeta, if you're like familiar with Dragon Ball at all. All right, we'll run that back. I'm gonna quickly grab some water again, so let me take a quick break and pop up our BRB. 1 second, guys. All right, we're back. Appreciate you, J-Dev. I probably can make it a little bit more fancy, but I figured it's better, that, as I said, than just throwing up my, like, just general thumbnail. Eli, not to go too on a tangent with anime, because I don't want to distract too much from including J-Dev in the talks as well, but are those the ones you listed? Are those your favorite anime, or are those just a few that you enjoy? I did start watching like quite a few things, like am I blanking on the name now? I did start watching like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, because I've heard a lot of people rank that as like their favorite. I'm like mid watching a lot of stuff at this point, like Demon Slayer, My Hero. Obviously I mentioned One Piece. Which I saw they put out kind of a semi. It wasn't really a trailer. It was like a promotional thing for the live action, which I'm looking forward to seeing that again. But yeah, I think there's just so much content when it comes to that. All right, let's bounce back over. And then thinking about horror franchises again, I feel like I'm looking for like a deep cut that I feel like I enjoy a lot, but maybe wouldn't necessarily come to mind immediately. Let me look. I'll cheat a little bit and just let's do a quick Google search here. Let's see what other people think are top horror franchises. I think I thought about doing something like that too, instead of like me listing my favorites, like looking at a top list that's like from some official source, and then me ranking the ones they included, because that kind of limits the population, where I can be like, okay, I'm not picking from everything, I'm picking from what other people thought were the best. Yeah, we talked about a lot of these already. I don't really count Scary Movie as a franchise when it comes to horror. Obviously, it's like horror comedy, but yeah, most of these we did talk about. Exorcist, that's another one. I've only watched the first Exorcist, I want to say. I know a lot of people hate the second one and then really like the third one, which I should watch the third one. Isn't Brad Dourif's in that, I believe, too, so I should check out the third one. The Exorcist, I feel like, kind of falls in the same category for me as what I mentioned is an issue for not watching it necessarily when it first came out, because I watched it, actually, I was probably too young when I watched it, but I watched it, I don't know, when I was like in maybe middle school, elementary school, something like that, like maybe when I was like 11. But I feel like it wasn't as scary to me as it was for people when it came out, because A, the visuals weren't necessarily as like realistic, but also I feel like the religious tie-in was a bigger component to people that grew up when it came out, as opposed to more like modern era or even like 20 years ago. So I didn't really feel like it scared me that much. It's an effective movie, like it's a solid movie, but I probably wouldn't. That's the only one I've seen the franchise, so I can't really speak too heavily. I know Believer was supposed to be like awful, right? Like when they were supposed to remake that whole thing, and are they even doing that anymore, or is that just dead? I think they made that planning for it to be a trilogy, and then it didn't really perform well. I'm trying to think what else. There's what, The Strangers, which The Strangers doesn't really work for me as a franchise. I feel like there's not really much substance there. I'm seeing Psycho on here. I only really have seen the first one of that, the original. I heard the remake was pretty bad because it just tried to do the same thing. Paranormal Activity is an interesting one. That was kind of like popular in that mid-2000s era. I think I've only seen the first one, though, and similar to the Blair Witch Project, once you realize this is just a movie, it's like, okay, this isn't really that scary. What else do we have on here? Annabelle, I think that's the Conjuring, like, lore with that. Sleepaway Camp, I've seen the first one. Poltergeist, Hannibal. None of these really stick out to me. The Ring, I don't know if that really counts as a franchise. I mean, there's 2 movies plus Ringu, I think. Pumpkinhead, I've never seen any of those. I feel like I always saw that like DVD and Blockbuster, and it looks so goofy. Puppet Master, I haven't seen any of those. The Purge doesn't really work for me. Jeepers Creepers, I'm not really a fan of that franchise. This one will count it soon here. 28 days later, that franchise will be that will be a franchise technically once the third one comes out. It'd be up for consideration for me, depending on how good the third movie is. I need to watch Prey. I've heard great things about that when it comes to the Predator franchise. The Nun, yeah. I mean, these are all kind of spin-off things. Cloverfield, does that really count? I mean, it's kind of action, sci-fi, a little bit of horror. Second one's good, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Third one wasn't really good, that like straight to Netflix one. Yeah, I think we hit kind of the big heavy hitters when it comes to that, if I'm being honest. Don't Breathe. Aren't there only 2 of those? I don't think that probably counts. I guess it could count because there's the original, and then there's chapter 1 and 2. I don't know if I'd put that on top 10. It'd probably be like top 20, maybe. Hostel. I forgot about that franchise. I've seen parts of... Is it the second one where there's like somebody just like bleeding on top of somebody, like in a weird way? The first one's really the only one I watched, which was an effective movie. Like that scene with like the cutting off that eye was super gross. I don't think I'd put that franchise in my top 10 though. What else do we have here? Okay, these are just movies now. They're not franchises. Like 30 Days of Night is an underrated movie, I feel like, but not a franchise, I would say. A Quiet Place. I feel like I need to actually sit down and give A Quiet Place a chance, because I like turned on the first one when it was on TV, just like mid-movie, and I was like, this is fine. I think I saw kind of the ending, which probably spoiled things, but I know people really love that franchise. I don't remember if I saw any of the second one. Then obviously you had like the third one, which was what, a prequel? Ooh, here's kind of that gray area. Like, do you consider Blade a horror franchise? It's kind of more of an action, but it's action horror. Yeah, they have the Lost World Jurassic Park here as an action horror. I'm like, okay, maybe, I guess. Wreck is a franchise. I meant to watch the first one last year, but I didn't wind up doing it. I didn't realize they had that many of those. Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose? That's kind of like the Blair Witch, where it's like, okay, you're kind of losing value. Yeah, I think the ones I named thus far are majority of the list. I Know What You Did Last Summer. That's another franchise. I don't think it'd be my top 10, but hopefully the new one's good. The Omen. I only really remember the first one, and then what, they had the remake come out in the 2000s. That was okay. I count Blade as horror. Yeah, I feel like when you throw in like vampires, that's at least pretty heavily. It's like it's more justifiable than something like Jurassic Park, in my opinion, because the subject matter around it is more fitting. Like vampires over like dinosaurs feels more appropriate. Yeah, I didn't watch any of the Hatchets. Is Hatchet a horror comedy? It's in the horror comedy section, what I'm looking at here. Ginger Dead Man. I never watched those. Cabin Fever. You know what I did watch last year? The first one, I had never seen the franchise. I watched the first Critters last year, which it wasn't that great. How many Gremlins movies are there? I like the first two. Is there a third one? I think the first couple are pretty good for that franchise. Piranha, yeah, that franchise was bad. 2? Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I thought I remember hearing something about working on a third one. I mean, they're kind of different. I feel like the first Gremlins and Gremlins 2 are way different vibes. Like the first one's more of a cozy film, whereas the second one gets a little bit silly with like all the other stuff going on. That's what I thought, that they were working on one, which I'm curious to see how effective that'll be. All right, we'll continue with the defect head getting beat against the wall here. These are all bad. We'll take the gold. But the first couple of Gremlins I dig. I feel like the first one kind of falls into that gray area where it's like, are you a Christmas movie or are you a Halloween movie? It's kind of like Nightmare on Christmas to have like that overlap there. Nightmare Before Christmas, rather. We'll take Ball Lightning. I think we're gonna take damage here, so we'll just... I don't know why I keep going for Claw, because Claw builds are not great on higher Ascensions, but I keep being sucked into doing it. I don't know, comparing to, I feel like if I'm thinking like horror movies, I'm curious if you had like the collection of entire horror franchises, so we're saying 3 movies or more, compare that to the entire catalog of solo horror movies. Which one would you place higher? I think that sounds like it'd be an easy question. Like, I feel like if something's a franchise, it's because they were successful, so people like them more. But I think the question's actually tougher than you would think. Like, if I'm listing my top 10 movies from horror franchises and my top 10 movies from, like, independent horror movies, I think the independent ones may actually put up a good fight. Like, I'm thinking of things like Cabin in the Woods. Obviously, not everyone loves this, but The Faculty for me is a big one. Maybe we go right up there and maybe tough against the 2 elites. Do we want Pendib or do we want FTL? I mean, we grab FTL, we can sell something too. But that would be an interesting comparison if you had like 10 movies that came from a 3+ franchise series that were your favorites and stack them up against 10 independent horror movies that had either 2 or less films. Which list do you think reigns supreme? We'll block here. All right, good enough. I assume maybe Jada for you that the franchise one would take the lead, knowing your favorite horror movies. I have a strong feeling things like Scream would really carry that list, because you may have Scream 1 and 2 on that list. Yeah, we'll stick to the right and see how it goes. We're kind of boosting this guy, which is not a good idea. But I'm thinking, as I said, of kind of those one-off ones that are really effective. Although there's weirdly, I feel like, independent horror movies that have like sequels that are like low budget, straight to DVD things. Like one that comes to mind, are there more than one Descent movie? I feel like there was a sequel that actually wasn't like actually a movie that was mass produced, but like The Descent is a strong franchise for me. Which of these do we prefer? But I thought I remember seeing like a really bad sequel put out. We'll skip those probably. Charge battery's tempting because we don't have a whole lot of block right now. Yeah, we'll grab it. We gotta heal here. Yeah, it's probably a good spot for that. I did realize, though, I did not notice until now that the sub number I threw up in the top corner is not current. So, awesome news to see that's higher than it once was. Let me grab you. There we go. Which I think it was at, I think we were at 431 at one point, but I know it's going to happen. I'm probably going to dual cast here, but it's going to just like diversify to these two guys, I have a feeling. I mean, it didn't fully do that, so thankful for that at least. What are we facing up top here? Yeah, we'll play these guys. Alright, I think we can play everything. We should be okay this fight, assuming we don't get stuck with a lot of dazed cards in one turn. I think we need to start picking up some frost and some focus. That would really be helpful here. I'll just pop this guy twice and then... This could be a rough turn for cards. Yeah, I was going to say, we got lucky. Well, we got him anyway. Doesn't matter. Take a defrag for sure. Do we want to play it, though? That's the question. I don't think we need to this fight because it's not going to help us that much. I like both of those options. I think we're going to take Consume and hope that we can get something that increases orbs, whether it be a relic or a capacitor card, because more focus is definitely helpful. Ooh. Where are we at? I really need to heal, but I think we're going to take a card out here. Should take a strike out, probably. I think we'll heal here. Alright, we probably have enough health that we can do some upgrading. Defrag is probably an easy choice. Although, once again, Frost is something we really could use. I don't know if we're going to be able to break him next turn. Would play this now, but the hard part is if we get something like an intangible, it would be unfortunate to play that turn. So we'll wait on it and see how this next one goes. But we probably have to do something to survive this. Although, actually, we're good. Nice. Yeah, probably just that. Fortunately, but can't play those claws. All right, so I don't think we want to play Consume again. We're probably okay with having two things here. That may be risky doing that much without blocking, but nice. Okay, I think we'll sit on that. All right, we should be good this fight now. There we go. Don't hate our build. I think I would like to get an orb relic. Echo or reboot? That's tough. If we don't get an orb relic, maybe we'll get something that gives us energy. So Not really any. This is too risky because we wind up having no block. I do like the bark. Pyramid. I think we'll take the bark. It's not really a downside. Pyramid could be kind of like neutral for our build, I think, where it may not actually help, but it won't hurt. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think I've ever seen 5 question marks in like one linear path like that. Be nice to have the relic that gave us a treasure chest after 4 of them. Hard part is if I go that way, we don't face any elites, which I don't want to avoid them entirely. I don't want to necessarily fight a bunch of them, but could go this way and then fight one and then TBD on a second one. 1, 2. Whereas if you go that way, 1, 2. I mean, there's 3 rest stops if I go that way. Problem is I don't face an elite unless I face the boosted one. Maybe we just start here and then we figure it out if we want to go left or right. Yeah, okay. Not the greatest start to this fight. We took a lot of damage there. Alright, we're not beating him this turn, so I think... Well, we're fully blocked, actually, so... I think we just do this. Man, not having as effective block kind of is unfortunate. What, he would be at 26? That's not enough. All right. If we get some kind of, I was gonna say something that gets the orbs going. Okay, I don't hate that, but I need something more permanent. We do have a couple claws. Well, static discharge is tempting because you saw that being effective that last turn. When I have higher focus, it really does damage. But we'll pick up claw. Ooh. So worth it to make stuff half at this point? Yes. I think we'll grab cool-headed. Skim could make sense still because we have some claws going on. Go this way. I think we transform a strike here. Okay. Do we want to face an elite? Probably. I mean, we get to rest here. We can also choose not to. So we don't get as many rest stops, unfortunately, but... Not the most exciting turn. That's okay. Alright, something's going to play twice. So... He hit me with a Hex, so if I play a non-attack, I'm going to draw a bad card. But I think defrag is still the answer. That seems fine. Okay, once again, something twice. If I pop that, we'll flip the frost through, so... should be dead next turn. Even if I don't play anything. I mean, Doom and Gloom is a nice AoE. We don't really have Dark that we're building, though, so... probably pass. I keep deferring to that, but that may not be the best choice because he's going to make stuff cheaper anyway. So I could have probably played that for less cost. All right, what do we want to play twice? Everything costs at least 2, which is great because it means I can only play 1 card here. It's probably defrag here. Maybe I should have played a potion. Okay, whatever you play is coming out twice. That's fine. Ooh, I mean, consume could make sense here, but then I'm going to lose 2 things, which I don't really want that to happen. We would get a lot of focus, though. Sure. There's so much block that does not matter here. All right, double. Ball lightning could make sense here. There we go. A little treacherous. We'll keep those, I guess. Do we want leap? I mean, we only have one thing that's frost based. It's upgraded. Sure. I think we play it super conservative and heal here. And let's try the elite. It's probably gonna be what, the stabbing book? Nope. This dude. The gremlin dude. Yeah. Is there something worth 0 I would pull? Claw, maybe? Probably just a claw. And maybe this fight will finally take this, because we need to really beat this guy. Fortunately, we didn't take out that guy. And they're all blocks now. Great. Okay, this next turn is twice. So let's go here. This guy's gonna be a problem, so we have to just swing at him, I think. Okay, he needs to die this turn, unfortunately, so... That's good, at least. Okay, now we need to really go for the leader, because this fight can't drag on too much. I'll pop that. Yeah, I'll do that. Bit of a waste with that one attack on him. What do you want to hit twice? That'll be you. Ooh, maybe we could pop consume, but let's do that. All right, now, yeah, he's dead. Cool. So for an elite, that fight went pretty smoothly. Kept him at bay for most of it. All right, cheaper that. That's good. We'll grab chill, just because it's a cheap frost card. No rest stops before the end. So we'll do one here, despite me not really wanting to. Go this way. Okay. I was going to be so mad if it was a heal all the way health relic, like the waffle. Not bad. This dude would have been nice to have that lightning power card against, though. Okay, this will be twice, so... Maybe not the best turn. Once again, this will be twice. Alright, we should get him this next turn now. Strength potion, I do appreciate. Skim or Tempest? We don't have Scrape or anything really to be searching for zero cost stuff. Tempest is tempting. I think we don't need two skims. Go right here, see what we find. Not bad. Ooh, that. There's so much tempting stuff here. Oh, man. These potions are much better than I expected, but at the same time, there's so much good stuff here. I think we have to take defrag. And now it's, do I want this or do I want some combination down here? That's such a good relic, but fairy in a bottle. Ooh. I think we're gonna do this. I don't know if I love it. Can't sell anything now, unfortunately. Don't want Cold Snap. It's not upgraded, but it is a block, or it's a frost. Sure. Ooh, do we face an elite here? Yeah, we'll be bold. Do we want to play the potion is the other question. We'll do it because we'll probably get a potion. This one's going to hurt a little bit, but I think we set ourselves up a little bit that turn. Not that you really want to hang around this guy too long. Okay. Okay, we need to probably kill him, if not this turn, the one after, because he's gonna become a problem now. Can we kill him this turn? What's that, like 20, like 30 damage? I don't think we can. I think we can get really close, but can't. So because of that, I may pop leap here. I think we could have gotten close, but not enough. Now I don't know here. We hit that twice, it evokes. And there's 18 up there. That's very borderline if that's going to be enough. And the reason I say that, because it literally is just enough. I didn't fully do the math there, so I wasn't as confident. Okay. Ooh, scrape or capacitor? I think we got to go with capacitor, despite scrape being perfect for our build. Although if we get the awakened one for the third act boss, if we get that far, I'm not going to be super pleased. Okay. All right, we have kind of a sequence here. We don't have a whole lot of focus, but I think that's okay. We probably will avoid Echo Form this late into the fight. What do we want? Probably cool-headed. Okay, we're fully blocked. Might as well try to find a claw. Some claw searching would be really effective here, but we don't really have much there. We have a lot of focus though, which is nice because we're probably fully blocked from here on out. Yeah, there we go. Once you get the orb sequence going... Oh, I forgot the other guy. I'm like, this guy's in boss. You're pretty much safe after that. Cool. Recursion, I like upgraded, but not upgraded. Is that really worth grabbing? No, I think we'll wait on that. Maybe we'll find an upgraded one later. Don't love this. Oh my gosh, okay. Okay, so those are a match. We know that. Oh, I was hoping I would find loop. That would have been a good combo. Oh well. At least we didn't get the handcuffs. Do we want to heal here? Yeah, I think we do. Chill is not ideal for turn one because he's going to bring minions in. But do I put it up because we're not going to draw it again for a while? Sure. Okay. I think with the amount of health we have, we're pretty much safe this fight, unless we totally throw it, but I guess you never know for sure. Defrag would be nice to get like a double up on after like an echo form. So should we wait for that? Yeah, we'll do that. May not work out that way, but at least we get more energy next turn. So if we get Echo Form, we can do that. Yeah, we can play this and other stuff now. So... Should we wait on defrag again? And then just... I think we do that. And then try to set up the long game with playing those on a double turn. Oh, these guys normally should not be still alive because, yeah, he's kind of not messing around now. Do that to finish him off. Huh. Okay, maybe we'll seek just a claw. Seems fine. Alright, now we really want to double the defrags, which we did not draw, so that's not ideal. We'll do Cold Snap to get some frost up there. Do we? Yeah, we'll play Zap, because we need to kind of kill this guy relatively quickly. Because he's hitting me for 51 now, which is a lot. So, don't love that. Maybe just charge battery. We do have this potion, but I don't really want to have to play it, but it is there as an option. I'm really glad I healed before this fight, though, that's for sure. Okay, we can consume and get a lot. I think we'll do that, actually. Take a bit of a pivot. We're just going to pop that now. Not waste too much time. Okay, fully blocked. Do like that. We have so much focus, which is huge. I think we'll do that to get more frost up here. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that. Thought about playing double block, but we had kind of plenty enough action going on, thankfully. Cool, there we go. Probably didn't need to heal, but it would have been very close if we chose not to. Ooh, biased, all for one, reboot. I mean, we have a couple defrags. Do we really need biased? Maybe we just pick up all for one here and pull back claws when we need them. Although biased is a good finisher. We'll get all for one in case we get the awakened one. That way we're not just stuck. Oh, man, this is tough now. I don't want you. It's one of you two. I love Frozen Core. But the inserter gives me orbs every time. I mean, us having consume, we're going to get more orbs. So I think we're going to go with Frozen Core, surprisingly. Although I do... Inserter is huge. Yeah, maybe we go with Inserter because if we play Consume... It's going to kind of screw us up if we don't have more orb slots. So I think it's actually Inserter. These two are like amazing for frost builds though. We'll grab Inserter, I think. That's a tough call though. Of course we get the awakened one, so I guess I'm glad I didn't pick up Bias Cognition. 1 second, I'm going to quickly step away, then we'll run through this final act here. 1 sec, guys. All right, we are back. I will say the one thing I don't love, maybe there's a way to work around it, is when I have desktop audio playing on here and I switch scenes, it is playing on the other scene. Maybe there's a way you can keep them kind of separated by scene, but I feel like typically, in my experience, they're linked together with desktop audio. If you have it playing, it's going to be playing everywhere. All right, I'm not positive I feel if that was a good choice with that one, but it's probably okay. We do have the Awakened one, which I don't love because we have, what, 1, 2, 3 power cards. I did forget we had Capacitor. That kind of made that probably not necessary, but... And Echo Form, so we have 4. I mean, I guess I can hold off on playing Capacitor if I want, because we have the inserter. So there's that. Alright, I don't really want to face an Elite at the very end. I'm thinking of something like this, but then what do we got before that? Kind of like the idea of going up here, then maybe hitting 1 Elite, and then... there. I think we'll just kind of go up the middle. We'll do a nice little full back dive here. You guys are all attacking me, which I don't appreciate. I don't know if I can play Echo Form here. I think we just go heavy on the block. All right. Maybe grab another defrag here. I mean, we're pretty much blocked, I believe. Yeah. Appreciate everyone being here too in the chat. If you hopped in, happy to chat either Slay the Spire or other. This guy is gonna be a problem here. Other topics, pop culture related. Yeah, we'll take you out. I mean, we're mostly blocked. What's that? Gonna be 3 more of those? I think we're gonna take you and see what we get. Maybe we can pull a claw. Or we can just do this and then survive. That actually may be the way to go. Let's grab you. Okay, grabbing 2 of you didn't really help, but I forgot that it is double. Okay, so yeah, I think we just pop that. Now we're only gonna take what, 1 damage? Definitely the more conservative route. Okay. Slow and steady with that fight. See, I should not have grabbed the inserter. We should have gone with the cracked core. I should have gone with my original gut. Because we could have fully had orbs rolling. I mean, the positive is I can go crazy with consume now that I have that. So we'll pick you up. Do we want to face an elite and then... Is that better than just going straight up this way? I mean, I go this way, I kind of lock myself into playing an elite because one of the directions we have to, but maybe that's okay. Taking a bit of a pivot. Oh, that would have been nice. Although this works with our build, since we do have Tempest. Also, this is huge. Ooh, I can only pick up 1 though. I may pick up the bracelet because I hate running into like the entangled guy or the 999 health guy at these question marks. Chemical would be such nice though. I think we'll grab the bracelet and be very cautious. Pretty cheap for cold snap. Do we need another cold snap though? What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, more frost doesn't hurt, I guess. It's pretty cheap. Flash of Steel is tempting because we're not playing like the time eater, so it's kind of just like an unofficial extra card. All right. Ooh. I don't think I can afford to pick up Normality, unfortunately. I always want to. We are going to... We could hit up 2 shops, but that's super risky. We'll just take the boss fight. We'll just hit that. Fortunately, we didn't have any focus, but... I mean, we can pull a claw back and then, like, go crazy with all for one, probably. Or we can just pull, like, a defrag. Alright, so this will be pretty easy to beat these guys now. Pop Consume, and then just swing at one of them. Okay, not bad. So here's where I mentioned, might as well just play that. Okay. Staying pretty good now. This guy is pretty much toast. Yeah. I mean, we'll pop that. That's fight. Like the shovel, it's a little late for the shovel. Nah, I don't think I want the sweeping beam. Alright, we said we'll go right. I think that's the best approach here. Ooh. Yeah, we gotta take Madness, unfortunately. I don't love having as low health as we do. Well, we had 50-50 on that one. Okay, mostly blocked. What is this turn? Okay. I really wish we could pick up that fossil relic that we passed up, but we could not have afforded it. All right, let's claw a bunch of times. 21 damage. Don't love that. Five damage now. Okay. All right. It would have been nice if we also got that relic where the right orb hit twice, but it's okay. Fortunately, I can't play all for one, but I think we're good either way. Ooh, 10 regen? I think we gotta pick that up, right? That feels like a slam dunk. I think we just pop that right now, honestly. Yeah. Okay. I think it's capacitor, chill, tempest. Maybe we could have played the defend. All right, we need to do damage because the 25s are, yeah, these 25s are going to be a problem here. Okay, we can play everything. This is going to hurt a little bit, though, unless we kill one of them, which I don't think is possible. Yeah. All right, so we're taking some heat here. What is that? 16 to 32. So we're mostly blocked if we kill this guy. We could seek for an all for one. Okay. Not the cleanest fight here, unfortunately, but let's see what we can do. We kind of need to do more damage against this guy. 32, we're blocked for 20. Alright, can we crank out some damage here? I don't love the Echo Form is not overly viable here. I mean, we could get lucky and madness into one of the Echo Forms. Should try it. Alright, we did not get lucky. Kind of hated that, but that's okay. I think we have to go for one of the bad guys still here. Mostly blocked. Alright, I think we're good now. Should be at least. Yeah. Okay. I mean, Barrage could be kind of nice with the crazy amount of stuff we got going. Like, that could be like a 6 times like 8. Getting kind of a big size of amount of cards here, unfortunately. Like, I feel like 20 is like the sweet spot, but 32. We'll grab Barrage, but I don't know if I love it. Let's dig. Okay. I keep drawing Echo Form where I want to play it, but the other stuff feels more like urgent. I think we do it though, because this next turn is going to be a tough one. Like, these two guys are probably attacking. All 3 of them are attacking. Love that. Okay, what do we want to play twice? Honestly, Consume is kind of sticking out to me, which maybe I should have upgraded Consume. Or Defrag. Yeah, I think we do that. What would we skim for? Or what would we seek for? Be cool-headed. Kind of need to get a lot of block this turn. Not really a good fight we have here. These guys can be a problem, though, if they get, like, the worst sequencing of, like, them all attacking you. Okay. We've done, like, 0 damage. That's not great. Okay, it's nice to have one defeated. We're fully blocked. Maybe we'll go for this guy because he's going to get... Well, they're both pretty strong at this point. Maybe I should have played Capacitor first. Yeah, I probably should have. Okay. I think we're good, though. Pop those. I mean, what are the odds that neither of them hit that guy? Okay. See, here's where Barrage becomes a worthwhile card to have. We also don't have Scrape, so we're not really going to ever fly by that card. We don't want any of these. Okay, I think we go right to give the option to heal. Don't hate that. Do we want to face another elite? I mean, if we heal here, we can probably afford it. Do we really need to, though? I mean, question marks aren't fights, so we could literally only fight one more time before the boss. Let's do that. Gotta lose a defend here. We'll heal because we don't know what we're gonna get up ahead. Not gonna take this fight. Ooh, that would have been nice. So, do we want to mess with defrag against this boss? Because we're gonna boost him, but at the same time, defrag is kind of like a worthwhile time to boost him. Oh, I wanted that too. What do we want to sell? We gotta dump something. Do we want to dump a Madness or do we want to dump one of these? I mean, that's upgrade already. Maybe just get rid of a defend. Since we do have some frost. We keep getting one short with buying anything. That's not ideal. Alright, you guys are doing a lot of damage. So let's try to counteract that as much as we can. Keep wanting to play Echo Form, but we kind of need to kill this guy, so I don't think we can. Yeah, we need to. He needs to be dead this turn. Okay. I mean, we'll probably just try to have the orbs defeat him and not mess around. And we'll just do that again. Yeah, don't even mess with it. All right, I think we have to heal here. And we'll see how this goes. I think we're just going to go ham on the power cards, regardless of the impact. Gotta be honest, though, I didn't love this first sequence, because Consume would be nice, Cool-Headed would be nice. But I really want Echo Form to be on the table, and if we don't play it this turn, it's gone. So we're probably going to play it. Not ideal. Not a great first turn. 10/4. We don't have anything to weaken him too, so that's kind of unfortunate. Ooh, if we play defrag, we're gonna boost him to. Is that gonna be 14/4? Yeah, it is. Okay. Don't love that. What would we seek if we chose to do so? Maybe we just kind of see what we draw here. All right, we really need to block heavily. Seek into a Cool-Headed and then play Leap. Just go like really heavy on the Frost. I think we wait on defrag in the hopes of it being double, but then the problem is we make him even stronger because it plays twice. Alright, we should be pretty good. Okay. Alright, what do we want to play twice here? What do we got? 30, 42, 48 block? Right, because that's 24 plus 24. So they're hitting me for that. 39. They're hitting me for 50 right now, but if one of them dies, then... But we're almost fully blocked without it, so... Do we skim, or do we all for a 1 here? I think we all for a 1 here and just kind of realize we're not going to get the benefit twice of redrawing cards. Is skim worth it to maybe get a claw? Or do we do something else? Like, we could just play defrag now. I think I'm going to try to skim into the claw, and if we pass by this stuff, kind of oh well. Yeah, we did. Could have played the potion there too. It's a lot of strength. Okay. It's coming out swinging here. $14, $26. What is that, 30? So we're fully blocked exactly, I believe. Wait, no. That'd be 56. So we're not fully blocked. If we play either of these, we're gonna be. I think we'll do you because I don't want to pass something that would be nice to play. Take 2 damage here? Yeah. Yeah, we'll pop defrag. We're kind of boosting the heck out of this guy, so we got to be careful. Hit another Cool-Headed. That was not a great card to draw. I want to try to like split these up. We haven't gotten a single consume. I just realized. All right, so we can double dual cast or we can double claw. It's probably claw. Because we dual cast once. Yeah, we probably didn't even need to dual cast. We probably could have just played defend, which may have been smarter because now we only have one frost on the board. This is a turn we really need it. All right, so I mean, we can double flash a steal, hoping we get consume, or we can just double charge battery and play it a little safer. Probably double charge. Maybe been smart to play that turn. Are we dead? 36, 50. We're taking a lot of damage here. We do have the potion. Yikes. Okay. So here's the turn where I'm going to do consume twice. How do we have like no block up there? I think I'm going to wait to play these. Because he is, I mean, he's insanely strong right now. Hopefully we beat him this turn. Yeah, okay. The answer here, I think, is cool-headed. I can't do that. Do we want to draw anything more, or do we want to sit on that? Probably sit on that, because maybe we will be able to evoke this if we have to. Okay, 52. Don't love that. What are we hitting twice here? That's 24. That's not enough. When we do that twice, it's at 48, which is just barely not enough. But then we could block. I think we're going to hit this turn. Maybe we should wait for all for one, but we will draw it next turn. But then it's going to cycle back already, so... Yeah. I think we'll just play it safe and play it now. Pop you. One, two, three, four. Yeah, we'll probably wait on skim. I think we're going to play everything else but skim. Because 52 was at 36. 51. We could play skim, actually. Drew all for one, which I did not love. Oh, I meant to play one of the defends. That's okay. I think he's probably dead here. Yeah. Alright, so, I mean, we didn't actually even need the fairy in a bottle, so I guess we did okay, but it wasn't the strongest turn. The power cards with this guy, there's certain ones you play and you kind of just deal with making the enemy stronger, like defrag, echo form felt like no-brainers. Capacitor is a little bit iffy. Non-upgraded defrag is also a little iffy. I did play one of them. Because you're making them stronger, but if you make yourself stronger in a more impactful way, it's kind of worth it still. Alright, well, we got to Ascension 20 with the defect now, too. Granted, as I said, we could still play it on Ascension 20 to officially beat it, even though we've unlocked everything now with him. So both these guys are at 20. And then we have the Ironclad and the Watcher. Unfortunately, my two favorite characters are in the middle. Ironclad, I appreciate. The Watcher, it takes so much thinking and takes so long. Like, the Watcher runs are always like double length compared to any other character for me. That was a pretty long run, though. That was like an hour long, which is pretty lengthy. What time is it right now? How far are we into this? A couple hours? Could probably run an Ironclad run. Let me see real quick. Yeah, we can run one. Normally I like to finish playing this game with him because it's like the most basic. Although once you get higher ascensions, it kind of becomes a little more thinking, but it's definitely the least amount of work required. These are all kind of bad. I guess we'll remove a card and we'll take a defend out. Probably that middle path. It's just, do I want to go this way or this way? Or we could go that way. We'll go here. Yeah, we'll grab Dropkick. Why not? I don't know if we're going to go for an infinite or anything like that, but it's a decent card. Okay. All right, nobody's vulnerable, so that doesn't really help. But we can defeat you. Grab and flame. It's so much more basic when you start this game, especially with this guy. Take sword boomerang. Look up the middle. We don't have that much money, so it doesn't really help to go to the shop yet. Okay, take some more gold though. I think we'll hit that, and then we'll just skip our turn. Let this guy sit here for a little bit. Although we will now bash him and then wake him up. Should I weaken him this fight? Probably don't need to. We have a lot of health. Yeah, I think we're good. We should only take one more hit here, I would say. Debated doing the vulnerable, but I don't know if we need it. Yeah, okay. More strength, do like that. I don't know if we're going to go with a block build like we have the last few times with this guy. I think we're probably going to focus on strength for now. Although I've said that, and then we've totally pivoted before, so it's possible we do that again. Thinking left. Seems good. We hit up a shop. Yeah. We'll grab you. Yeah, I don't pay attention to pen nib a whole lot, so I probably should, but it's nice when it just miraculously shows up and you get double damage. Okay. Didn't really get any block there, unfortunately. Smoke on my allies pretty much just chuck if I can. I don't really like to play it. Whirlwind I like more than Cleave, but we don't have anything AoE right now, so maybe we'll grab Cleave. In case we run into multiple people like this. So we didn't draw it this turn, unfortunately. Ooh. We'll attack because maybe we can cleave into everybody next turn. Did not. Huh. I mean, we could sword boomerang, but we don't really guarantee hitting one person, unfortunately, that way. What are the odds at least one of them hits him? One in 3, I presume. Should we do that or play it smart and just... Yeah, we'll just take one out. We don't want to have it wind up not hitting him at all. Okay, we kind of need some block cards, though. I didn't realize how few we had, I guess. Yeah, we got 3, but... Okay. I do appreciate that. More strength stuff. I just complained about not having block. Do we want... Metallicize or Shrug It Off? I do like both of them for different purposes. I think we'll grab Metallicize. Ooh. We may skip the Golden Idol for once because... Problem is we pick it up, we can't take damage, so we're going to have to pick up a curse if we do that. Yeah, I think we're just going to leave it alone. Take a basic strike away. Kind of want to upgrade here. Hopefully, I won't regret that choice. I mean, we do have the fairy in a bottle. I like to always have it on me so I don't have to waste it, but would have been nice to get that sword boomerang that turn. Probably worth playing you, right? Kind of a rough turn. Okay. Well, at least that guy's almost dead. gonna say that double attack on that seemed like it was gonna be pretty good. I don't really like any of these. Yeah. I don't really like any of these either, being honest. I mean, maybe that, but it's kind of early. 2 wounds for a small hand size is a little bit bad choice. This, giving the opponent strength is always a rough choice. So it's one of these. If anything, I may skip. Skipping's probably the right answer, but we'll go here and we'll just try to be mindful to pick up upgraded cards, I think. And maybe not hit rest stops as often unless we need to heal. As I say that, the middle looks very tempting. Although we can hit up this outside. Maybe we do that. No, I think we're still going to go with the middle. Because, I mean, I probably will lose health, so you would think. Alright, I need to remember I have more energy, because a lot of times I'll skip after I play stuff worth 3 because I forgot that I had more. 22 exactly, right? Yeah. Okay, as I said, we want to pick up upgraded stuff. I don't think... I mean... Maybe. Maybe. I did say we need block. Exhausting a card I don't really need to do, but I could always, like, play that last. Sure. We'll fight here. A little risky, but... Okay, cleave would have been nice there, but we didn't get it. Maybe we'll get sword boomerang. We did. I would have liked to get strength too, though, but we did not get that. All right, so we'll hit that. You have 1 health. Don't love that. I think this is the time to pop that. Okay. All things considered, that turn was manageable. I was going to say, if all those hit the right guy, I would have been so annoying. Oh, I guess he may have died, actually. Maybe that would have been better. I did say we want upgraded stuff. I like clothesline. Honestly, they're all not bad. Spot weakness I may go for. That's one I think is reasonable, not upgraded. Ooh, we can get 2 fairies in a bottle. Scales I do appreciate, though. I mean, 2 fairies in a bottle would be wild. That would be so, like, strong. But the scales, though. I think we'll grab the scales. That may have been a safer choice to win the match, though. I'll pop this way. Do we want to add a card or heal here? I mean, what are the odds we get something we like? It's 28 health. That's kind of huge. Although we're going to go that way and we can only heal, so I think we just pick up. Alright, none of these are upgraded. Metallicized Battle Trance Flex and Heavy Blade stick out, but that's not upgraded. Maybe Battle Trance here? Just to cycle through because we have more energy. Hmm. Yeah, that way if we face a bunch of small guys, they can be beaten pretty easily. Alright, we're sitting pretty good. Here's where the bronze scales at least comes in handy. Okay. Yeah. Should I weaken you? Probably. I mean, we're gonna heal after this fight, so we're probably plenty fine, but... Since it is double, we may get something better to double. Or we will not. Okay. I think we're pretty much full health still after all that. Alright, here's once again bronze skills, huge against these guys. They're weak, so let's just go for guys over there. Yeah, we can get rid of defend, I guess. So these guys are gonna just take hits, which is amazing. Yeah, we're better off knocking you down, even if you would have hurt himself. Like, that much damage would not have been good. Okay, cleave I've been waiting for. If I do that with cleave, is that... Okay. Upgraded clothesline will grab. Something to weaken is nice. Alright, good news is he's pretty much dead now. What would that be without? That'd be 14. So I'm gonna go over here first. Yeah, we'll just get rid of you. Strength is so effective. Upgraded cleave or flex. Take another upgraded cleave. Better odds of drawing it first turn when we need it. Alright, this guy, I probably should play these again so I don't pull skill cards. It makes it a little easier to avoid. Downside with that is I'm going to play into his hand. There we go. Do we want another block? Sure. We don't really have good block cards right now. Shop at 115. We can at least sell for 50, so sure. mean, some of this stuff would have been nice. Seeing red, maybe. Just get rid of a strike. I think we'll pass because I really want upgraded cards. This guy's such a pain. Although this first turn, it's fine. We're pretty far away from Pen Nib being effective. I think we just do that. Oh, that is just short. That may have been unnecessary, but... Ooh. Upgraded body slam. Okay. I mean, we're not really doing the key stuff. I mean, we could fight that. We haven't really done the heart in a long time, but I don't love doing it as much, honestly. Especially when I'm trying to unlock Ascensions. Granted, beating the heart on Ascension 20 is like way harder. Should we have played that? Maybe. Okay, a little torn here because Dropkick would let me play another card. But I kind of want to break your artifacts, so... Here's where True Grit's kind of tough because I don't really want to get rid of any of these. I guess we'll do that. I don't feel great about it, but... Honestly, I don't really care for either of those cards. You can take them, but I'll do that, I guess. I'll make the artifact completely gone now. Yeah, we'll get strength. This is going to be a little dicey. I mean, we do have the fairy in a bottle, but I'd really rather not have to use it. I think we'll survive this attack barely. Oh, he's weak too, actually, so... if I boost that, that's probably not worth... I think Cleave is still the answer here. Yeah, we're good. We are plenty good against this guy. I don't really care for Elixir. Feed will grab. We can't upgrade it. It's a little late. But max health is always nice if we can get any of it. Okay, do we want the collar or do we want the tiny house? I think we'll take the collar. We're just gonna have an insane amount of energy, but if we grab like demon form, that would be huge. Especially since we did not get the awakened one, so power cards I'm all for. Alright, so we will go up the middle here, I think. I mean, we could hit up the shop. Where are the other shops at? There is one up there, though. Do we need to hit 2? I mean, we could sell a card both times if we did that. Yeah, we'll hit up 2, I guess. This is an awful first turn. Hmm. Yeah, we gotta do that. I don't love this situation because we're gonna take 24 damage if we play that. I don't think that's worth it. I mean, we're taking 21 if we don't do it, so maybe it is. We'll just do it. Just super gonna get hurt. Ooh. Shockwave or Whirlwind? Whirlwind will be nice against this boss, but so would Shockwave. I mean, we do have a lot of energy, so maybe Whirlwind's actually the answer here. All right, 1 second. I'm going to grab some water one final time before we go through this final part of this act here. All right. Appreciate your patience. Let's close this out. Okay, cool. Ooh, that would be sick to combine with Whirlwind. Yeah, we got it. I mean, we're not guaranteed to draw that every turn, but like that's an immediate KO. Even if you add that with Cleave, like that's huge. Like Whirlwind wins right here if we draw it. We did not draw it. Don't love that. That would have been so nice just to take these guys out. We'll do that though. I should probably be diversifying these attacks instead because we may get Whirlwind next turn, in which beating them would be a little easier. Yeah, like 44. We should have probably diversified that a little better. Let's see what we get here. $33. That's not going to cut it. Maybe I should have popped Whirlwind there. Yeah, it's a little late, but I'm going to do it now. Taking these guys out is kind of important here. We could feed. There's that here. Although you have to play it last. So what do we got here? So these two guys, that's going to take 2 hits. That's going to take 3 hits. So play this and then feed. Yeah. I don't want elixir. I don't want the one I have already. I think we're to go inside here. Because I don't know if we want to face that elite or not just yet. Get rid of the defend against this guy especially. It's always smart to play that if you can when you have a shuriken, because it gives you value even without it actually doing damage. Okay, that was a rough hand. We kind of lucked into doing enough damage still with the body slam. Okay, I think we hit you with that. And then we just do that a couple times. Keep the strength going, so if we draw just like one card, we're okay. Good enough. Gotta get rid of you. Do we want another clothesline? I don't think we need another one. I mean, the boss we face is gonna have those artifacts, which we're gonna have to get through. But so maybe. Yeah, we'll take a second one. Only one more shop, not picking up the bottom one. So here we go. Okay. Should I play this potion? Oh, that would have been nice previously. I don't want to get vulnerable here. We're just going to do that. I think we'll get a potion after this fight. That's the only reason I really played that. Okay. Can we just wait on feed, maybe? I mean, realistically, should we wait on it? You can try. I don't know if that's smart. Okay, we pretty much need to draw it this turn. We did not, but we still did not. Maybe we could just block. There we go. Another body slam. All right, do we want to face an elite or do you want to hit a rest? I don't really need that anymore. We don't need any relics really, so maybe we just rest. Take that for sure. Okay, you're not attacking me. It's not gonna be worth double, so we might as well. Oh, I forgot about that first turn though. Oh, that was unfortunate. Okay, that works. Not attacking me, so I don't need to play that. Be nice to be able to feed on this guy, hopefully this next turn. Didn't draw it. He's also doing 27, so we may just need to clip him here. I think we're going to do that. We'll grab upgraded, shrug it off. Why not? Okay. Do we want another whirlwind? I don't think so. I mean, this is the last shop, though. It has to be because there's literally no question mark, so we might as well go all out here. That seems fine. Okay. I think we're just gonna play it super safe here. Oh, I forgot about the extra with the feather. So probably didn't need to do that. We may have been able to take out the heart on this run. Alright, so if we can play a few things here. His third attack's going to do double, so 26, so that guy's dead. He's like easily dead. Alright, drawing a feed here would be nice. Did not. We still did not somehow. Rampage. I mean, honestly, our deck is pretty complete. We don't need to add much at this point. Whirlwind, come on. There we go. Gotta love it. Heavy blade, yep. Upgraded for sure. I mean, we could probably mess with an elite. They are super buffed, though. I maybe could have gone for the 3 keys on this last turn. I'm gonna like kick myself if we go for this guy and lose, though. We don't really need whatever. It'd be kind of just for show to face him. I mean, we heal 15 plus like 25, though. I don't know. We'll go for show. We may wind up losing. I'm going to totally regret this. All right, he's got metallicized, which kind of sucks. Okay, I think we're going to hit you right off the bat. I also think we're just going to pop feed here. Not mess around. Probably could have played one of these because we're gonna get a potion, but at the same time, I may not prefer the potion they give me. Sure. Yeah, he's dead. I mean, we'll grab the key, I guess, at this point. We could have gone for all 3 of them at that last second there. I mean, Whirlwind would have been crazy if they gave it to me with this. What's better? 22 to all or 17 times 4? Because this gives us an extra 22. This gives us an extra 34, right? My math right on that? We We didn't get Whirlwind at the first turn, which kind of was unfortunate, but we're just gonna use you now. Not blocking a lot, but that fairy in a bottle makes it pretty secure. Ooh. I mean, we can hit that for like 100 damage. Heavy blade double would be enough to kill you, right? Because that'd be 128. Oh, that'd be just short. But then we can finish him off. So I think we're going to do this. That. I mean, at this point, we might as well. Okay. This is pretty set in stone at this point. Nice. So yeah, we did go with strength. We did get body slam, so we kind of did some block, but we didn't do like the whole barricade and entrench and stuff like that. So pretty heavily strength build, especially with we had the strength relic here, we had one here, we had one here, and we kind of had one here too. So pretty heavy on the strength side of things, and then more energy and stuff like that. So. You gotta be careful sometimes, though. If you go strength and you just totally neglect block, you take too much damage that you can't. If you can't kill somebody fast enough, you get kind of screwed. So you need to balance a little bit in there. All right. May call it after that. So these two guys, we got a 20. Guys on the outside, we have an 11 each. So yeah, that feels like maybe a good place to stop. Folks are cool with that. All right, well, let's bounce out of you. Switch back over to camera. All right, so I realized this was kind of a spontaneous stream. I am thinking of doing lives this week where it's topics on. I already talked about this one at the top where I mentioned top 10 video games. I'm a little bit mixed on the back end of my list. I feel confident in my top few. Appreciate you watching. I don't know. Maybe I'll do when JDev was in here and we were talking franchises, especially the core franchises. That may be a fun idea since I kind of feel like I gave a lot of my list, so it could be pretty defined. I know we kind of already had the discussion, but if we have a set conversation for it, I feel like pretty confident in most of that. At least like 5 to 7 of the ones I would pick. So maybe we'll do something like that too. I mentioned I need to do my Last of Us season wrap-up review, which maybe I'll wind up doing tonight. We'll see, depending on how much I can put together for that. But I probably won't spend too much time on it since I did do episode reviews. So most of that conversation has already been had on those shorts that I did. So if you're curious on more in-depth, episode by episode, definitely check those out. But I kind of mentioned this at the beginning as far as next stuff. We will have the Last of Us Season 2 review. I plan to do something on Texas Frightmare Weekend, just kind of recapping how that was and some of the events that took place there. And yeah, other than that, we'll probably do some lives this week on top list. Maybe we'll throw in some games as well. I mean, Slay the Spire is an easy one to jump into. At some point, I want to do Halo 3. I did just recently pick up Cyberpunk during the sale because I have heard great things, although it's not as cheap as it was on console way back in the day when like it launched and was a total flop, but it's kind of been massively improved since then when it comes to like stability and stuff. So I probably won't stream that because it's a little bit edgy of a game to do on stream, and you may have issues with that on YouTube. So probably just play that offline. But maybe at some point, if I do a top 10 games list, I probably won't include that because I haven't played it. But who knows? Maybe after playing it, I'll wind up having it added at some point. But that's kind of upcoming stuff. I'll keep an eye on as far as movies or shows coming out this next month. If there's anything that makes sense to include, I'll throw that in as well. Other than that, I did mention too, we'll probably get a Dexter trailer. I imagine sometime in the next few weeks. So I'll probably do a breakdown with that as well. So yeah, it's kind of just high level expectations for channel stuff here in the short term. So other than that, appreciate anyone hanging out and watching. I realize Slay the Spire may not be your cup of tea. So for anyone hopping in, just talking movies or shows and stuff like JDev, especially Eli, appreciate you hopping in for some time as well. As I said, I know Slay the Spire may not be stuff you're interested in, but I love the conversation to kind of go along with it that allows me to have something going on while talking about that stuff. So if there's nobody in the chat, we can kind of still be doing something on the live stream. So it seems like it's been an okay back and forth with doing that, but also having conversation. So but that wraps things up. Yeah, I kind of highlighted what to expect next on the channel. But other than that, appreciate everyone being here, either live or in the VOD. And beyond that, appreciate hopping in. Have a good day, guys. Take it easy.